All right, everyone, let's get started. It is 5:02 where I am, 7:02 Eastern. Again, my name is Leilani. Welcome, devoted health members and guests. I hope you can hear me just fine, and please let me know if you can't. I'll have one of our team members reach out and let me know, but hopefully you can hear me. I'm so excited that so many of you are here and that you're already sharing in the chat where you're joining us from tonight. It feels good to be back with music and more. Tonight, we'll be revisiting some of our favorite topics, like our supplemental plan benefits, and we're going to be exploring some new topics, including information about all the documents that you're getting in the mail right now. So whether you're a newer Devoted Health Plan member or you've been with us for years, we're so happy you're here with us tonight. It's really fun to come together to educate ourselves about how our Devoted Health plans work and strengthen our Devoted Health community by enjoying music together. So today's presentation will be about 20 minutes of a slideshow about the annual notice of change and the materials that you're going to be getting in the mail from Devoted Health regarding your plan. And then we're going to kick off our hump day evening with about 20 minutes of fun musical trivia with musician Skip Lewan. He'll give us a bit of theme music from a famous movie, and we'll all do our best to try to see how many we can guess correctly. It should be a lot of fun and hopefully a good reminder of which classics we might need to finally sit down and watch this fall. I know I personally have a lot on my list. Because we're in webinar mode, you'll be muted throughout the presentation, but as you can already see, you're welcome to use the chat box to say hi, let us know where you're joining from, and to ask general questions when we talk about our plan benefits. My colleague Will, who I bet many of you have texted with in the past, is standing by ready to help you, so please feel free to use the chat box to ask questions or to send us a text at 86685. But please remember, our chat boxes and text messages are not encrypted and others can read what you're writing, so please do not include any of your personal information. If you have a more complicated question or concern, it's always best to just call a guide over our secure phone line and get help privately. And that number is 1-800-DEVOTED. So obviously we're bringing you the show tonight virtually, as we always have for music and more. And that's so we can all join in from across the country. So I'm obviously in my living room, which means I'm relying on home Wi-Fi to keep us connected. And if the technology acts up, sometimes it does, please bear with me. I'll do my best to fix any problems ASAP. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that we'll be recording this session and put it up on devoted.com/member-events, the same website that you went to get here. And we'll add closed captioning in the recording by next week. So if you can't watch all of the presentation tonight or you want to watch it again, you'll be able to do so next week. Skip is also going to join us in 2 weeks to do a similar presentation again. So if you loved it and want to come back, we'd look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks too. All right, everyone ready to get started? Okay, let's do it. Let's talk ANOC. What is an ANOC? I call it that, but it's really an acronym for Annual Notice of Change. And it is a document that we, as a Medicare Advantage healthcare plan, have to provide all of our members in September to let them know how their plans are changing for the upcoming year. So the ANOC has all of the changes. There's a lot of good information in these documents, but sometimes they can be long. And sometimes they can be confusing. But what's important to know is that these documents explain how your plan will change from 2021 to 2022. So for example, if you don't see any information about your transportation benefit or about your over-the-counter credit, it's not because those things are going away, it's because they're not changing from this year to next year. We provide the ANOC in September so that now during AEP, the annual enrollment period, you know what's going to look different and you can call us to ask specific questions if you have them. We also like to provide you with what we like to call the friendly ANOC, which has additional information that will help you decide if your current plan, including the upcoming changes, is the right fit for you in 2022. Your friendly ANOCs are literally in the mail right now. So if you haven't received this orange envelope that you can see on the screen, that is okay. It is on its way to you. And so you should be getting it within the next 2 to 7 days. On the bright orange envelope, it says your 2022 benefits, important changes to your Medicare plan. So keep your eye out for this. It's pretty hard to miss. It's very bright. So in this envelope, you're going to find a cover letter, which goes over the 3 changes that we think are the most important for you to know as your plan changes from 2021 to 2022. You'll also find the What to Know About Your Plan booklet that goes into more detail about what exactly your plan will offer in 2022. We refreshed the booklet this year from last year, and I love it because I think it's a really easy to read manual for how to use your plan, including your supplemental benefits like dental and everything that you could need. In this package, you'll also see your new over-the-counter catalog for 2022 and a flyer about the medical group we partner with called Devoted Medical. Devoted Medical is a completely independently operated medical company that we work with to make sure that our members have a second line of defense when it comes to clinical care. You can use Devoted Medical alongside your PCP or care team because we know a lot of you love your doctors and are very happy with your PCPs. But for example, if you needed a last-minute telehealth visit and you couldn't squeeze into your PCP's office, you can rely on Devoted Medical. They work with your PCP to make sure everyone's on the same page after any visit you have with them. Devoted Medical also partners with the programs we already have for members with chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, congestive heart failure, and you may have already had a visit with Devoted Medical this year. Lastly, Devoted Medical helps make sure that you feel supported as you transition between specialists or after you come home from a hospital stay. Excuse me. So as I mentioned, you may have already had a visit with them. Thousands of our Devoted Health members already have. So if you get a voicemail from them or if you have questions about Devoted Medical, please note that they are a resource here for you, and we're happy to make sure that you understand how you can use them. Some of you may have a 5th item in your friendly ANOC, that bright orange envelope that's on the way to you soon, and that's a drug formulary change letter. And every year we make some slight adjustments to the drugs we cover and the ways our plans manage the different tiers of prescription drugs. So if you do get this letter, it means that something is changing about the way we cover at least one drug that you currently take. There will be instructions in the letter about what to do, so please read it carefully and give me a call if you have any questions. But usually what we recommend is just that you and your PCP have a conversation about potentially switching you to a similar version of that drug or getting you authorization to continue using that drug in 2022. So I've said a lot and I've given you some homework, but I hope you're not feeling overwhelmed. The main thing to remember here is that we're sending you information that we hope we're sending you information that we hope helps you feel really good about what your plan will look like as you come into the new year, 2022. So what happens if you love your plan? If you are loving the plan that you're on this year, 2021, we are so happy to hear that. And to stay on your plan for 2022, you don't have to do a single thing. Your enrollment with your current plan will roll over to the next year, 2022, and you'll keep your same Devoted Health ID card if you wish to. And I also want to take this opportunity to quickly mention some really exciting news. We're proud to announce that our Texas and our Florida plans earned a 4.5 out of 5-star rating from CMS for 2022, with 5-star ratings on certain measurements like overall rating of the drug plan, overall rating of the health plan, and customer service. Our plans in Ohio and Arizona are too new to have received star ratings for 2022, but we're really excited about our Texas and Florida plans getting their star ratings, and we can't wait for another great year with all of you. So if you're set with your plan and you want to stay with your Devoted Health plan, we're delighted to hear that, and your current plan will remain active for you as long as you're eligible, which means as long as you don't leave the service area or sign up for another plan. If you might be suited for a different plan, we have lots of options here at Devoted Health that might work better for you, and we'd be happy to help you compare your options. You can give our telesales team a call or ask your broker what might be best. You can check out all of our different plans, but whatever plan you have on December 7th, that will be the plan that you have on January 1st, 2022. So for example, if you're receiving Medicaid and are eligible for a dual special needs plan or a DSNP, in order to reap the benefits of being on a DSNP plan, you'll have to make that change by December 7th. So as you weigh your options and get really excited about the benefit upgrades you'll be seeing in 2022, I wanted to quickly remind you about some of the benefits you can continue using this year, because there's almost 3 full months left of 2021. So let's start with one of my favorites, the device that keeps you safe, a personal emergency response device. We call it a PERS for short. And with one of our PERS devices, and don't worry about memorizing this number because one of our MXC friends, Caroline, is going to put it in the chat for you. But with one of these PERS devices, you can get emergency help with the press of a button. And I know most of us have cell phones, but sometimes it's charging in another room, or you just want to have some time without hearing your phone ping. And a PERS is a good way to have peace of mind without being tethered to the phone. You can move around safely and know that help is just a push of a button away if anything were to happen. The device itself and the monthly monitoring, which is the service that responds to your alerts if you push the button, are both free with your Devoted Health plan. They're fully covered and present no cost to you as a Devoted Health member. So you can choose from devices that work around your home or ones that you can take out and about with you. With certain devices, you can even get fall detection, which automatically send an alert if it looks like you might have fallen. And I think they're pretty fashionable. They've done a little bit of a revamp this year from last year. So a little bit smaller, a little bit more chic, I might say. So definitely make sure to let us know if you have questions about the different PERS devices available to you. And to get a device, you're just going to call that number that's in the chat or give us a call here at Devoted Health and we will connect you over to our PERS vendor. All right, another benefit I always love to quickly go over is our over-the-counter benefit, which we call the OTC credit. And this is an amount of money that you get every month or quarter, depends on your plan, to spend on over-the-counter items that you're probably already buying. So you can get toothpaste, vitamins, pain relievers, all sorts of good stuff using your OTC credit. And your catalog, which you should have from your kit last year, and you're going to get the 2022 kit this coming week, will show you all of the items that are available for purchase. And you can see the catalog online at devoted.com/OTC. In that website, you enter your zip code and your plan name, and it shows you all of your documents, including the OTC catalog. So you do have to type in your zip code to get it, but I like that how it's just OTC. So you can use your monthly or quarterly credit on several small purchases, or you can go to CVS and spend all of it at once, whatever you prefer. But we suggest that you use your full credit for that period because they don't roll over from one month to the next or one quarter to the next. And we're in the last quarter of the year. So if you're on a quarterly allowance, you'll want to use up your credit before New Year's. You can buy online, over the phone, or at participating stores. And you might find that some items are out of stock due to supply chains that have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. But I assure you, our friends at CVS are working really hard to replenish their stock and get replacement products out to members as quickly as possible. So for example, you might get a slightly different brand of Epsom salt than you ordered, but our partners would rather have you get the Epsom salt as soon as possible than worry about it being a particular brand. And since we all like saving money, I'd love to mention also our wellness bucks. So except for our flex plan, which gets a separate quarterly allowance, all devoted plans give you between $150 to $300 a year in wellness bucks to pay you back for qualifying health and wellness items or services. So I know you're thinking, like, what can I get? Is this for me? But you can use this on so many different types of items. You could use it on a fitness tracker, like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit. You can use it on classes like Zumba or yoga, or you can use it for apps that help you online, like workout apps or Calm or Headspace that help you kind of get some meditation, some Zen time. Wellness bucks also cover weight management programs. So if you're already starting to think about how you can be your best self coming into the holidays, you can have some assistance with Weight Watchers or programs like that using your wellness bucks. And of course, there's equipment like yoga mat, free weights. So they're very flexible because everyone has slightly different interests and health goals, and we want to make sure that you're supported in achieving them. and we promise it's easy to use it. So you're going to go to devoted.com/paymeback, and you'll find a reimbursement form there, and you're going to print that, mail it out, and send it to us with your receipt, and we'll send you a check. It's pretty simple. And to learn more about the wellness bucks that your plan gives you, you can go to devoted.com/plan-documents. And if you have questions about your wellness bucks or what you can purchase with them, our guides are always happy to walk you through the process of using yours. So just let us know. All right. It's also not too late in the year to get some Devoted Dollars rewards. And I hope that most of you who are listening in have already received at least one Devoted Dollars reward this year. But I highlighted some that I think are particularly relevant. You can get $25 for your annual wellness visit if you haven't done that already this year, $20 for the flu shot this fall. We are officially in flu season, and now is a great time to get your flu shot. Additionally, if you qualify for colon cancer screening or breast cancer screening, those are $25 as well. So this is a really great way to do something that's good for your body and your wallet. And please let us know if you have any questions or if something happened and you didn't get your award. We're always happy to look into that for you. Yes, so just to say it again, it's very easy to get these. You don't have to do forms or paperwork. Once you've gotten the qualifying care, we're going to send you the reward. It's that easy. All right, I don't know if anyone was following Sue Prince from Florida this year, but if you voted for Sue for the Silver Sneakers Member of the Year, please feel free to let us know in the chat. I voted for Sue every day. Silver Sneakers has every year they have a Member of the Year, and there are 10 finalists, and Devoted Health had Sue Prince as a finalist, the only one I think in the state of Florida, so pretty big deal. Sue was called out for her dedication to fitness and for inspiring her gym community. She had surgery, but learned a lot about how to make certain exercises doable as she recovered from her surgery. And she shared that wisdom with her colleagues at the gym to really remind us that there's always something you can do. There's some modification you can make, when your mobility is decreased or when you're recovering from an injury. So she didn't win, but she gave them a good run for her money, and we hope that she is an inspiration to all of us to keep our fitness up. And so if you haven't checked out Silver Sneakers, please let us know how we can support you in doing that. Every Devoted Health plan includes Silver Sneakers or has an allowance that members can use to participate in exercise programs. So Silver Sneakers specifically gives American seniors free gym memberships and online fitness classes. They'll even send you a gym box if you want to make the most of your space at home. So to get help accessing a gym near you, you can text Sneakers to 86685 or give us a call, and a guide can happily walk you through how to access Silver Sneakers. Nearly all of our 2022 Devoted Health plans include non-emergency medical transportation, and this is a benefit that helps you get rides to your PCP and other healthcare appointments. So in addition to using your rides for checkups or scheduled surgeries, you can also get a ride to a COVID vaccine site if you were waiting to get FDA approval for your vaccine, or if you're a veteran and you use the VA for care, you can also use your rides to the doctor benefit to go to the VA. These are rides for appointments. They're not for emergencies. If you have a medical emergency that requires immediate medical attention, you still want to call 911. And your summary of benefits will tell you how many rides you get and what types of care you can use them for. To schedule a ride, you can give us a call at 1-800-DEVOTED to get connected with our transportation partners. And they're going to want to know where you're going, what time you need to get there, if you have a wheelchair or need a stretcher, if anyone's coming with you. So just a little bit of information. But once they have that, they'll give you a pickup time window where your driver will arrive within 15 minutes on either side of that window. So like if your pickup time is 3, your driver may come between 2:45 and 3:15. And if for some reason 3:15 rolls around and your driver's not there, you need to give us a call so we can help make sure to help you get a new ride and make your appointment. Your driver will continue to wear a mask, and you'll need to wear one as well, unless a medical condition means that you can't. So please remember to do that, and also to check your belongings before you leave the car. All right, that was a lot of great info. I hope that somebody or at some point you found something that's helpful to you. And I'm just going to check the chat really quickly to make sure there aren't any questions that we can ask as a group. So give me 1 second. I'm going to switch over here. Okay, can it be submitted online instead of printing? That's a good one. Yes, we can help you do that. Just give us a quick text or we can text back. There are ways that we can submit online if you don't have a printer, but it's much easier for us to use the printer. So we can walk you through that specifically, Debbie. And I'm seeing it looks like we've had all of these questions answered. That's so awesome that you already got the flu shot, Christy. That's great. These are so helpful, and I love that you guys are helping each other in the chat. This is awesome. All right, well, it sounds like we've had some good questions, but that Elise has been really on it in the chat. So I'm going to actually turn it over to our musical guest tonight, a lifelong lover of music. We are joined by Skip Lewan, who brings us his talents. Skip honed his piano and jazz saxophone skills by performing weekly at King's Chapel morning worship service, as well as by teaching music at Katz Academy, a high school here in Boston. And we're so glad to have him with us tonight. He'll be playing tidbits from famous movies, and we all get to guess what film we think it is and learn some fun facts along the way about these cinematic masterpieces. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Skip. Welcome, friend. We're very happy to have you with us.
Thank you much. Thank you so much, Leilani. We're going to start with something that has had an installation of the series recently. Let's see if you guys can get this first one here. Probably guessed, this is our 007 James Bond. One of these movies was actually filmed in the music composer's house, John Barry. This was from Skyfall. This was M's house. 007, granted it's been played by a few different actors, has been shot over 4,600 times throughout the many, many movies that have been put out. But he's killed almost 600 himself. Again, many different actors. Gold was a signature to this whole series for a reason. Goldfinger, Goldmember. The original book that the movies were based on by Ian Fleming was actually written on a golden typewriter that was later sold for more than £50,000 at auction. And John F. Kennedy was also a huge fan of James Bond and had a private viewing of the film From Russia with Love, and ended up being actually the day before he was assassinated. So. The next one, another saga that has spread many, many years and is still going today. Pretty easy guess there. It's one that's been around for, I think, almost 50 years, maybe even more than that now. Interesting facts about Star Wars. While we know James Earl Jones as being the signature voice, the actor that we saw in the suit was actually a British bodybuilder named David Prowse, and he's currently banned from all Star Wars-related events. And he's quoted saying, "I've burnt too many bridges between Lucasfilm and myself." And Chewbacca was one of the very furry friends that we saw through a lot of these Star Wars movies. When he was filming in the woods of Northern California, we haven't quite gotten to space yet, he had been constantly escorted by a team of people in bright vests to make sure that bear hunters wouldn't mistake him for one of these wild creatures. His voice is a mixture of badger, lion, seal, and walrus, which is why he has that signature kind of growl. And then the first Star Wars was filmed in Tunisia, parts of it. It almost caused a war, actually, between Libya and Tunisia, due to Libya's dictator, Gaddafi, thinking that a Jawa sandcrawler, which is that giant kind of toaster on wheels that was sitting on the border, was a military vehicle parked there. George Lucas obviously quickly moved it and didn't want to start an international crisis over one of these. Brings us up to another one here. So if you guessed Pink Panther, you are correct. Altogether, these movies have spanned a long amount of time and have grossed over $165 million. But the more recent reboot with Steve Martin did not fare so well. Didn't really catch on. Pink Panther refers to a diamond with a unique flaw. However, only 6 of the 11 films involved anything to do with diamonds. Some of these were, live action with real actors, and some of these were animated. Audrey Hepburn was the original choice for Princess Dala, but the director, Edwards, was not able to get her, so he had to settle with Claudia Cardinale. And Peter Sellers, on the other hand, took loads of diet pills to get in shape for the movie, and actually ended up having a series of major heart attacks between the filming and the release of the movie from this, just to get in shape for the movie. This next one is a classic movie I'm sure you all will recognize. We might recognize it as a Celine Dion song, but it was actually made for the movie Titanic. James Cameron, who was the director, was incredibly thorough with the scripts. He was even giving backstories to some of the extras in the movies just to kind of make their acting just a little bit more convincing. Cameron only originally wanted songs that had no lyrics in the movie. However, composer James Horner, lyricist Will Jennings, and obviously Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, impressed Cameron enough to be obviously what we know as one of the most memorable parts of this movie. And then The Door. Why couldn't they share it or take turns? This is a question that I have always asked myself whenever watching this movie. The script originally had it as a very small piece of wood, and it was just kind of, only able to save one of them. And also the movie would not have quite left the same taste in our mouth had they both, been able to fit on this door. Brings us to a little bit more of an action-filled theme with this next one here. This is Mission Impossible, another series of action movies here. And every single one of these films features somebody suspended on a wire in order to infiltrate a location. It's kind of a signature of these kind of spy and espionage films. Tom Cruise is an actor who insists on doing almost all of his own stunts, which has led him to some pretty precarious places, including hanging from the side of a military plane, hanging off some pretty harrowing cliffs, and actually climbing the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, which is in Dubai. And Mission Impossible 2 was the first movie that the band Metallica agreed to write a song for. And Apple paid $15 million to have their personal computers in the original Mission Impossible. I'd say if that was their marketing ploy, it's worked out pretty well. This next one takes us a little bit more off the land that we're used to being on. Be Pirates of the Caribbean, or the Caribbean, depending on how you pronounce that. The main character in these movies is based his appearance on none other than rock legend Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. Keith Richards was actually cast in one of these movies as Jack Sparrow's father, Captain Teague. And the movie, Jack Sparrow, as we know, has a very funny way of running away from danger. And the director, Gore Verbinski, and Johnny Depp, they now kind of look back at that and reflect as it is kind of looking like a lizard running on water, is what they're quoted as saying. Today, many of the elements from this movie are in a ride in Florida in Disney World, actually. It's very, very cool. I've been there myself and would definitely recommend it, especially at night. These trilogy of movies is definitely something that some people attempt to do in one sitting, but it's about 11, maybe even 12 hours, depending on if you're watching the extended version or not. This is Lord of the Rings. When Lord of the Rings was being cast, big-time actor Sean Connery got offered a role, but admitted that he never even understood the script, and so he didn't take the role as Gandalf. This would have made him just shy of $3 billion today, with the deal that he was offered. So he might be regretting that just a little bit. Other big-time actors who were also offered roles in this movie, we have Liam Neeson, Russell Crowe, Jake Gyllenhaal, Vin Diesel, and Uma Thurman. And as we know, a lot of this movie, or maybe we don't know, was filmed in New Zealand. That's where all of this unbelievable scenery comes from, and the little hobbit holes. And there's a ton of horseback riding, both in the movie and in New Zealand in real life. So for extras of horseback riders, a lot of the people who you see in the movie are actually women who are riding horses that are wearing fake beards. This was just a lot easier for them to find, fantastic horseback riders in the area. This next one is going to take a little bit more of an animated route. There's two songs from this movie, and the first one might be a little bit trickier because it's not usually the main attraction. Haven't quite guessed that, this next one by someone who's pretty famous named Elton John might give you a little bit more hints to the movie. So as we know, this is The Lion King. The movie was originally actually going to be titled The King of the Jungle. And the voice actors from Timon and Pumbaa, the first song, by the way, was Hakuna Matata. So Timon and Pumbaa were the animated animated creatures, animals who sang Hakuna Matata in the movie. Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella were the voice actors, and they actually auditioned to be the hyenas that we see in the movie. So we can see that the roles that they were cast for were far, far different based on their voices. And Pumbaa actually means foolish in Swahili. And the wildebeest, very famous wildebeest stampede, took 3 years to create. This is because they had to create an entirely new, animation program that basically had to make the wildebeests not run into each other. So just for this one scene. And then animators in The Lion King were working on completely different sides of the country simultaneously. Some were in Florida in animation studios, and some were in California. So this was a pretty big piece for them to put together. This next one's gonna continue on the animal theme, but maybe a little bit scarier animals than the Timon and Pumbaa. You probably could guess from just the first two notes repeating over and over again, this is Jaws. Steven Spielberg, who directed this movie, made a voice cameo as the Amity Island dispatcher who called Quint's boat with the Sheriff Brody's wife on the line. And Amity Island is better known to us as Martha's Vineyard, not too far from where a lot of us are. And the shark doesn't fully appear for the first hour and 21 minutes of the movie, and this is because the mechanical shark that they used was very, very often broken and not functioning very well. This obviously presented a huge challenge for Spielberg, trying to get the right angles, just to put the shark in bits and pieces, but not show that it was not doing so well. Thankfully, some of the footage of real sharks was included, and this was filmed off the coast of Australia. This next one is a little bit spooky. this was Ghostbusters. This spooky movie was written by Dan Aykroyd and inspired by paranormal interests from Dan's grandfather and great-grandfather, actually. His grandfather Maurice worked for the Bell Telephone Company and even tried creating a high-vibration crystal radio to communicate with the spirit world. Due to a very quick 12-month timeline that the movie was placed on, there was only one of the famous vehicles, the ectomobile, that was created. A lot of the times in movies you'll have, 2, 3, in case they break down, which this one did. It was broke down while filming a shot on the Manhattan Bridge and was not able to be used ever again because of this. On the set, the famous Marshmallow Man was actually a whole bunch of shaving cream. And while the Ghostbusters theme was pretty catchy, it was not the most original, ripping off Huey Lewis in the News song, I Want a New Drug. This turned into actually a pretty big copyright infringement lawsuit and ended up being settled out of court. So this one right here was obviously, you might recognize this as just a song, but the movie was made out of the artist, or the original artist, Richie Valens. This is La Bamba. And this movie did not actually use any songs sung by the original artist. He was passed away, unfortunately, at this point. This movie was about his life. But instead, the movie featured covers by a group called Los Lobos. Los Lobos were very commonly, we hear this La Bamba by them today. And they were actually working on their second original album at the same time as filming, and so they were bouncing back from studio to studio during this movie. Richie Valens' mother, though, did get to make an appearance in the movie during the first family party. And the clip that you see in this movie from the mid-air plane collision was something that actually happened in real life on January 31st, 1957. This one was Indiana Jones. Now, in one of the original Indiana Jones, Kate Capshaw's priceless dress was actually eaten by an elephant on the set. The Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom, was responsible for creating the PG-13 rating on television and actually has some of Steven Spielberg's favorite elements in his entire filmography. And in one of the series' films, the film company had to breed thousands of rats just to make sure that they were all disease-free. And because of this, they were granted the first and, to my knowledge, the only 1,000-route insurance policy by Fireman's Fund Insurance Company, just if they were to lose at least 1,000 of the rats they had bred. The final one we have here is a very, very classic piece and from an animated movie. This piece is called When You Wish Upon a Star, and it is from Pinocchio. Figaro the cat was actually Walt Disney's favorite character, and he put this in as much as he could into the movie. He actually ended up replacing Minnie Mouse's old dog with Figaro moving forward after this film. This film won 2 Academy Awards for Best Movie Score and Best Song. The song was the one you just heard, When You Wish Upon a Star. And this was the first animated film to feature famous actors, the household names at the time. Those being names like Dickie Jones, Pinocchio, Cliff Edwards, Jiminy Cricket, Christian Rubb, Geppetto, and Charles Joodles as the carriage driver. Thank you so much for your time tonight and playing along with me, and I hope that you guys learned something. I definitely did.
Thank you so much, Skip. I don't know if you can see in this chat, but someone just said you look so spiffy, and I agree. You look great, and your music sounded amazing. I learned a lot of fun facts tonight, and I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. So thank you so much for joining us. And I did want to mention a couple threads in the chat that seem like they might have had some back and forth. So just to reiterate, acupuncture is a covered benefit for all of our members here. It's just that from 2021 to 2022, it changed from being a supplemental benefit to being covered by original Medicare. So you all still are able to have acupuncture. And if you have any questions about that, we'd be happy to go over it with you via text or on the phone. So please let us know. A couple other things I wanted to clarify. When I said service area earlier, I meant where you live and where your primary care is. We do still cover emergency care and urgent care if you're on vacation or visiting friends or family. You're never going to be without care. It's just that your primary care needs to happen in the area of service where you live. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. I was trying to take notes here. Again, if it's not in your ANOC, it means it's not changing. And I think those are the main things that I could catch from the chat. But I'm so glad you guys had fun tonight. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. If you want to do this again in 2 weeks, we'll have Skip join us again. We'll have a slightly different theme. It will be from our Devoted Health playlist that members created last year. We'll pick out some favorites and have Skip play them for us on the piano. So I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you again for joining us. And you can see this presentation next week on devoted.com/member-events. Take care.